Good evening and welcome to the special coverage on Nile TV International, where we always put the spotlight on the latest updates and developments. Today, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi delivered Egypt's speech at the Africa-France Partnership Summit in Nairobi and held a number of meetings on the sidelines of the summit. To shed more light on that, we are delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Yousef Elsharkawy, the former assistant of the Foreign Minister. Good evening to you, Mr. Ambassador.
For your kind invitation.
It's an honor having you with us on Nile TV International, sir. We would like to begin with how far have been the speeches by participants reflect a big concern of reforming the global fiscal system to address the concerns of the developing nations.
Yes, I think that the visit of His Excellency Mr. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and the participation in Nairobi in this important summit of Africa and France, I think this underscores Egypt's continued commitment to strengthen its presence across the African continent, and also reinforcing the role of Egypt in within the African Union and the international forum and organization, and also enforcing the role of Egypt as a key actor in issues related to development, achieving stability and the African economic integration. Also, I think that this visit in this time was also represents an important opportunity for His Excellency Mr. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to enhance and advance the bilateral relations between Egypt and Kenya. As you know, it is an important country actor in the Nile Basin and all in East Africa, on all African continents. So, and this also is coming following the elevation and the upgrading of the ties between the two countries to the level of strategic partnership. And we have now are witnessing a lot of broad prospects for cooperation between Kenya and Egypt in many fields like infrastructure, energy, electricity, trade, investment, water security, and the digital transformation.
Right.
Also, I think this summit and participation of Excellency Mr. President Fattah el-Sisi in this important summit also is supporting the African-European partnership. This is the new and the turning point of the relation between Africa and Europe. It is not only business like before about only the exploitation of the raw materials and supporting this to Europe, but now Egypt reflecting a new dimension in this regard. As Egypt support for building a new model of African-European relations based on mutual development, investment, and technology transfer to Africa, and respect also for our national sovereignty in Africa, rather than, as I said, the traditional patterns of influence. And this also, I think, reflects in the speech of His Excellency Mr. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. I think that also now Egypt is showing a lot of effort for advancement the Egypt role, in particular also not only in diplomatic field but also in the economic role in Africa. So why this is very important for us to provide for Egypt a big opportunity for the role of Egyptian companies and the investment in Africa and the African markets, particularly in sectors where Egypt, as you know, possesses extensive and intensive expertise, such as, for example, the construction and infrastructure, the energy field, the telecommunications, the healthcare, and transport. And I think that yes, please.
Mr. Ambassador, I can hear you clearly.
Yes, so this visit also is very important from another dimension because it allows for for His Excellency Mr. President Fattah al-Sisi for more consultations on major regional and African challenges with their counterpart, with the African leaders, including many questions, including and many challenges and problems in this regard, like security stability in East Africa, like counter-terrorism, food security, climate change, what I call it climate injustice, and the reform of international financial institutions. And also what is important now, and the need to reform, to restructure the Security Council of the United Nations, and ICD to be also showing the second member of the Security Council. I think also Egypt is doing its best to support the process of integration and development in Africa. In that regard,
Mr. Ambassador, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi called specifically for boosting the activation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. How do you think such a target can be realized through backing supply chains among African countries and supporting the empowerment of African youth?
I think this is important. You see, it's a question. So why His Excellency Mr. President Abdel Fattah highlight Egypt's support for the African Continental Free Trade Area, and also for broader efforts from the European states as strengthening intra-African and the economic integration. And we have, very good example of the European Union. But I think this also, it needs a strong will from the leaders of Africa. So I think we have to work this out now through the bilateral relations, also the role of media, to enhance the economic cooperation and integration, and to try to establish, to work, to operationalize the African Continental Free Trade Area in this time, because it is very important for Africa. I think also this visit will also, enhancing the Egypt diplomatic and strategic presence, because this visit proves that Africa, it is in the heart of the Egypt policy, not only the external policy of Egypt, but internal policy. Because, for example, if we look to the last visit of Mr. President Emmanuel Macron to Egypt, so Egypt and President Macron and His Excellency Mr. President Fattah al-Sisi opened the new headquarters of the Senghor University in Port al-Arab in Alexandria in Egypt.
Yes.
This is so very important, and it shows an important track for Egyptian foreign policy. This is about the three-party, cooperation between Egypt from one side and France from another side, and also from the African countries. And Egypt is doing its best in that regard to build for the capacity building of the youth, of the leader, of the youth of the future, and the leader of the future in Africa. So I think so in that regard, this important. You see, visit to Kenya also confirmed Egypt's determination to maintain a strong diplomatic and strategic presence within Africa at a time of growing international competition over influence, investment, energy, and strategic resources for the country, the continent, from different countries, from big powers and big power, from the United States of America, from Russia, from Great Britain, United Kingdom, from France, from China, also Turkey, Iran, Israel, Brazil, Japan, and other countries. So why this visit is very important in that regard to confirm the importance and the determination of Egypt to try to enhance the strong diplomatic and strategic presence for Egypt in Africa.
Yes, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for being with us on Nile TV International, and thank you for your insights, the significant comments on the summit and insights. Of course, we had the pleasure to speak to Mr. Ambassador Yousef Elsharkawy, the former assistant to the foreign minister. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, once more, and stay tuned for more on Nile TV International.